Hi, this is Mr. Long again, back with the Sleeping Giant of Goll. We had read through chapter 7, so I'm starting with chapter 8 today. Try to remember back to what was happening at the end of chapter 7. For me, it's been a little while. I believe there was a giant involved. Chapter 8, The Bronze Giant. Kia leaped over and pushed Eric out of the way just in time. Thoom! Zor's other foot slammed down. Then he stretched his giant arms toward Kia. No! Kia slid down the hill toward Zor. Suddenly another cry filled the air. It echoed down from the hills above. Hurroo! The blue dragon, Neil shouted. The dragon swooped toward Zor, but the giant was swift. He pulled a huge ledge off the side of a hill, broke it in half, and heaved the chunks of rock at the dragon. Be gone, you beast, Zor boomed. The dragon clawed at him, crying out noisily. Hurroo! Hurroo! Then it swooped down and clamped its jaws tightly on the giant's shoulder. Arrgh! Zor howled, flailing his arms and losing his balance. Wham! He fell back against the hill, sending a pile of rocks crashing into the valley below. Eric leaped out of the way, tumbling to the ground next to Neil. Did you say something about Panjabar being boring? Eric asked. Not me, Neil said, scrambling away. Just before, Zor's huge foot slammed down near him. Spar's laughter turned to shouting. Galen, you have bothered me once too often. Prepare to meet your doom. His fingertips sizzled with red flame. The wizard scoffed. You haven't seen the last of me, Spar. He sent a bolt of blue light shooting across the valley at the sorcerer. Kaboom! It exploded at Spar's feet, knocking him into the dust. It's 2 against 1, Spar, Kia cried. She followed the wizard's bolt with one of her own. Kaboom! Boom! Spar fell once again. Together the two wizards pushed Spar deep into the remains of Zor's dark tomb. They followed him down into it, their blue light flashing up from the depths. The dragon kept up its fierce attack on Zor. Arrgh, the giant bellowed. He swatted the dragon. When it pulled back, he tried to stomp Neil and Julie, but they scurried out of the way. Can't catch us, Julie yelled. We're special. Hurroo! The dragon circled the giant. It opened its jaws wide and breathed a blast of fiery blue flame. Zor shielded his face and stomped away from the children. Another blast of blue fire sent Zor reeling back even further. The dragon is winning, Eric shouted. Then the sky above the valley burned red. Spar flew up from the depths of the tomb to a high rock. He shot bolt after bolt of red light back down into the tomb. And from the tomb's darkness came a scream. It's Kia, Max cried. She's in trouble. The dragon turned in mid-flight. Its deep green eyes pierced the dusty air. Hurroo! Eric stared at the large blue beast. Its eyes showed, what? Fear? And something else, too. The dragon needs to help Kia, Eric called out. Come on, guys, let's keep Zor busy. Neil and Julie heaved rocks at the giant. Eric grabbed a nin shovel and began whacking Zor's huge feet. Bing, bang, bong. Hey, Neil shouted, your dream, Eric, hitting a garbage can. That's just what Zor is. Eric laughed as he kept on banging. I did dream of Droon after all. Hey, I'm special too. While the dragon flew at Spar, the sorcerer began uttering strange ancient words. Zor, Katu, Salam, Tika, Meth. A red cloud swirled up from Spar and shot across to Zor. The cloud was sucked into the amulet. The amulet's crystal glowed red hot. Arrgh, the giant roared. Destroy the village, destroy the village. Zor heaved his arms high in the air. He turned to the dust hills and began to climb. No, Batamoji cried. My poor people. Thomp, thomp, the earth quaked with each step. A thick cloud of dust poured over the kids. Eric shielded his eyes, but the dust stung him. I can't see anything, he said, stumbling. Julie rushed to him. Rub your eyes, Eric. He balled up his fists and rubbed his eyes to clear them. Thanks. Now let's get out of here. Julie stared at Eric. She gasped. She whirled to her feet. That's it. Come on, everybody. We can stop this nasty metal-brained giant. How? Neil asked, running after her. With what these hills are famous for, said Julie. Dust. The end of chapter 8. Chapter 9. Dust is our friend. Thomp, thomp. The giant clomped up the hills toward the Ubja village. Batamoji waddled as fast as his short legs could carry him. His whiskers curled in fear. I hope we can save my people. Julie raced next to him, her black helmet shining in the afternoon sun. We'll save them. Don't worry. Wham! Bam! Zor hurled boulders at the kids. Well, okay. Worry a little, Julie said, pulling the king out of the way just as a boulder crashed nearby. They dashed through the pass and into the village before Zor got there. The Ubja were hiding in their homes. The kids rushed to the big wooden wheel. Batamoji ran to the control stick. Princess Julie, the honor is yours. Julie nodded, then pulled the control stick just as Neil had done before. Rick! The wind wheel began to turn. It spun faster and faster. Whoosh! A dark funnel of dust started up from the middle of the wheel. It rose high into the sky, spinning like a tornado. I'm good at controlling things, Mac chirped. Let me help. He wrapped his 8 legs around the control stick and pulled hard. King Batamoji joined him. Whoosh! The dust funnel shot up the hillside. Then there he was, Zor, his giant bronze head peered between 2 peaks. He hoisted himself up and climbed through. Arr! He bellowed just down at them. Just as he lifted his giant foot to stomp the village, the dust storm spun up at him. Zor raised his giant arms in front of his face. He backed away, pawing at the spinning wind. He can't see, Eric said. It's working. Zor backed up to the summit of the highest hill. He shielded his eyes with one hand and swatted the brown spinning air with the other. Still the dust storm came at him. Zor stepped backward once more. Crack! The ledge beneath him gave way. Ah! The giant screamed. He tumbled backward off the mountain and hit the valley below with a thundering crash. Boom! Batamoji and Mac slowed the wheel. The dust storm died away. The village fell quiet. The kids rushed down to the giant metal man. His bronze body was cracked and crumpled. He shuddered, then lay still. His giant lips quivered. Shh, everyone, Eric said, creeping slowly closer. Zor's trying to say something. Agra Vor, the giant said. He breathed a single long breath. Then he spoke no more. He trembled once more, and his dark eyes closed. What's Agra Vor? Neil asked. The sky turned red above them. Never mind that. Spar is coming, said Julie. A second later, Spar shot down from the sky. He landed on the dusty plain next to Zor. His face was filled with anger. His purple fins turned black. He doesn't look happy, Neil muttered. The spiky points running back from the middle of Spar's head seemed to glow blood red. Ah, my Zor, giant man of bronze, Spar said. For ages you have lain asleep, waiting to do my will, and now... Yeah, sorry. He's all broken up, Eric said. Bring the garbage truck, Neil added. Spar turned. You puny children think you have beaten me? This is just the beginning. You will never win. Now tell me what Zor said. Eric made a zipper motion across his mouth. Julie shook her head and crossed her arms. Tell me, Spar commanded, or else. Finally, Neil raised his hand. Zor said... What? The sorcerer shrieked. Neil frowned. He said you should. Yes, the sorcerer said. He said you should get a life, Neil finished. Spar rose up over Neil. His eyes flashed with terrible anger. Those were your last words, you foolish child. Now all of you, prepare to meet your doom. Eric gulped and turned to Neil and Julie. Doom? That's not really a good thing, is it? Neil shook his head. I'm pretty sure it's not. I think we have time. We'll go ahead and do Chapter 10. Chapter 10. One last thing. Kablam! A bolt of blue light shot across the hills and exploded next to Spar. The kids turned. Hooray! They cheered. Through the dust strode Galen and Kia. Their hands were raised at Spar. Their fingertips sizzled with blue sparks. Begone, Spar, Galen said. You have lost. Eric grinned. This isn't your day, Spar. Hurroo! The dragon swooped overhead, and from the village came hundreds of Ubjas. They marched at Spar, looking angry. The sorcerer growled like a captive animal. He raised his arms to the sky, flapped his cloak like a set of wings, and shot up into the air. Come, my nins, he called out bitterly. We will live to fight another day. Victory will be ours. Instantly, his red-faced warrior nins took to their groggles. The sky darkened over the dust hills as they swarmed after their leader. Moments later, Spar and his army were gone. Yahoo! We beat him, Neil shouted, jumping up and down. We won today, we won. Excellent work, my friends, Galen said. The giant lay motionless before them, his dark eyes crusted with dust. Your plan worked, Kia said to Julie. The Ubja king smiled broadly. I told you she had powers, the powers of imagination. Julie smiled. Well, the dragon sure helped. Princess Kia looked up. The dragon was perched quietly on a hill overlooking the village. Its deep green eyes met Kia's, and unspoken words seemed to pass between them. Then Kia gasped. Oh my gosh! Mother! Roo, the dragon cried. I knew it, Max chirped. It is Queen Relna. That is why she helped us so much. My princess, the dragon, is your mother. Kia ran over as the blue dragon fluttered down and landed softly at the edge of the village. Kia seemed to understand the soft, deep sounds her mother was making. A dragon queen, said Neil. That is so awesome. Galen smiled. They are together once again. Families should be together, said Max. Batamoji sniffled. I wish my 9 brothers were here to see this day. Julie looked at the furry king. Wait. Did you say 9 brothers? You have 9 brothers? Batamoji nodded. We ruled our village together. We were all crowned at birth. Julie blinked. 9 brothers, 9 kings, 9 crowns. Eric gasped at Julie. Your dream. My dream, Julie repeated. I was floating over a hilltop and saw 9 crowns. Oh my gosh. I understand it now. I understand it. Julie ran over to Kia and her mother. Can your mother take us someplace? The dragon murmured to Kia. Kia laughed. She'd be delighted. Julie jumped. Come on, everybody. King Batamoji, get ready for a family reunion. Everyone piled onto Queen Relna's back. Julie pointed over the hills. The queen flapped her long wings once and lifted off the ground. This is just like my dream, Julie said. I was floating high over Droon. And you wore a crown, Neil said, tapping Julie's black helmet, just like you are now. The dragon dipped over the green lake and came to rest on a hilltop where Eric, Julie, and Neil had begun their journey. On top of the hill was the circle of 9 strange trees. They stood like statues in the fading sunlight. Their tangled branches reached to the sky. Julie turned to Batamoji. In my dream, she said, there were 9 crowns sitting on a hilltop. Here there are 9 trees. When your brothers refused to help Spar, he must have enchanted them. He changed them into trees. When they grabbed us, they weren't trying to hurt us, Neil said. They wanted us to help them. There is a spell to free them, Galen said, and Kia, you must help me. The 2 wizards joined hands. Together they began to murmur, Tepi Qualam Bratu. A blue mist wrapped around the trees. The branches twitched and creaked. The trees shrank to the size of bushes, and their leaves bunched up and became red fur. Their thick roots became squat legs. Their upper limbs became arms. Then the circle of trees quivered together and became Batamoji's 9 brothers. Oh my, Batamoji cried. You see, Julie, you did help us. Now we can do the dance of joy. The 10 squat kings hugged one another. They linked arms and twirled around, laughing. As they did, Eric turned to Galen. Zor said one last thing before he went quiet. He said, Agravor. Galen's eyes went wide. Agravor is the legendary land of the lost. It is peopled by the heroes of Droon's past. Max shivered. They say that the only way to enter Agravor is to be a ghost. Neil backed away. So I guess we're not going there. He looked around. No one said a word. Tell me we are not going there, he said. Kia smiled a big smile. I think you already know the answer to that one, Neil. He frowned. Then he shrugged. Then he smiled. Agravor, huh? Where the ghost people live. I know what I'll dream about tonight. Whoosh. A cool wind blew across the dust hills. The children looked up. Hovering over a rocky ledge nearby was the magic stairway. Looks like our adventure is over for today, Julie said, removing her helmet. Time to go. Batamoji took the helmet. We'll keep this in a place of honor, Princess, for when you return. I hope I do return, Julie said. Batamoji chuckled softly and tapped his head. Spar was right about one thing. This is just the beginning. You'll be back. I know you will. The 3 friends stepped onto the stairs. Kia waved to them. Keep the magic alive. You bet we will, Eric called back. Then the princess, the wizard, the spider troll, and the 10 kings of Panjabar all climbed onto Queen Relna's back. The dragon circled the stairs once and headed toward the sun. Eric, Julie, and Neil waved him by and started up the stairs. Then Eric stopped. Wait, he said, why didn't the stairs work for me or Neil? I mean, it turned out that we all dreamed of Droon, but they only worked for Julie. Neil scratched his head. What if the stairs worked because all 3 of us were there? That's it, said Julie. To make the stairs work, we all have to go together, because no one is more special than anybody else. That's cool. Neil nodded. It's like we dreamed 3 parts of the same dream. Eric thought about that for a while. Then he smiled. 3 parts of the same dream. Cool, I can live with that. Me too, Eric, Neil said. I mean, we're a team, right? Julie grinned. The absolute best. She put up her hand. Eric and Neil slapped her high fives. She did the same back to them. The 3 friends took one more look at the land of Droon, then raced up the stairs for home. And that is the end of The Sleeping Giant of Goll. Thanks for listening and watching. Bye-bye.